Hey, AfterBuzzers and Bold Type fans, we are back talking about episodes 4 and 5. That dinner went south. Kat is officially running for office, and the students finally become the masters. We cannot wait to get into all of that and more right after this.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Well, this is a fun song.
Oh, I like this.
Welcome back, guys. We are back. Sorry, we missed a week last week, which was episode 4, but we will be recapping all of last week's episode and tonight's all today. And we are down a host member. Nakia will no longer be joining us. We will miss you dearly, but we will be adding someone to the panel shortly. But to introduce us off, I'm your host, Ally Nasta, and to the far left, I've got the amazing Krista Flentji. How's it going?
Hey guys, it's going good. Happy Tuesday.
And our favorite dog mom, Karla Beltran.
Hey guys, I was actually going to say happy Thursday, but it's only Tuesday.
It took me a
so
second
I
to
was
realize what the
reminded.
day was. I was like, Tuesday.
I normally do a show with Ally on
yeah.
Thursdays, and Ally's like, "Oh, happy Thursday!"
Yeah.
So right now, I just kind of like I went back thinking like it was Thursday,
Have
but
you
it's
guys-
actually Tuesday.
Have you guys
so-
seen that meme that's like, the worst part about Fridays is when you realize it's a Tuesday.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, that is exactly how today felt. But with further ado, let's jump into overall thoughts of this episode, ladies. Wait, and last week's
Both
episode.
episodes.
Well, last week's episode, I was extremely scared, but there was nothing to be fearless
Yes.
about, or
Fearful. Yeah.
fearful. And this week's episode was good. I was kind of like wondering what was going to happen
Right.
with each and every single one person because of the whole hack and just like the relationships and everything was just kind of like up in the air. But I
Yeah.
kind of like how it ended.
Yeah, I think these two actually it works out. They tied into each other really well. But yeah, definitely episode 4, we had stuff going. Or 3, it would have been 4.
Four and
Thank you.
5.
Yes. So I'm like out of it today, guys. But yeah, I think episode 4 we did have that with Jacqueline. That kind of I was like, there's no way this is how she gives up. So
Yeah.
I'm glad it like had the ending it did, and we got the turnaround from her. So that was nice.
Totally, and that leads us great into the fact that, they had mentioned the students finally become the master.
Yeah.
And I feel like this was a really great moment for Jane, and that kind of ties into also the moments she's had today with Patrick, that she's ready to kind of become her own boss. And we can tell that she's really learned and taken a lot away from Jacqueline, and she has a lot of guts now. And I think that her going up to Jacqueline and saying what she needed to say was such a great pivotal moment. And obviously the show teaches us all the time about like how we should act in a workplace or kind of not be afraid to speak our minds. And I think that her talking to Jacqueline before she went on stage to basically give a retirement speech was a huge point in that. And that was a really special moment for them because then you can tell Jacqueline really kind of step back and realize, wow, like this is the work that I've been doing.
Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that them working on a story together is gonna be is a really fun moment because this is the first time we kind of seen them go on a duo together out in the field trying to get the story and capture this. How do you guys think that this could transition for Jane? Like obviously now she is, sparing her time and splitting it between the .com and the magazine. Do you think that this is gonna be something that maybe transfers her into a larger role?
I mean, I hope so. You can tell how much more she enjoys these types of stories.
Yeah.
So it's great watching her like kind of light up when she's assigned a task like this versus whatever she was doing today, like the Croc sandals or you know what I mean? It's just that stuff's not, I know she works for a magazine that does a little bit of everything, but these stories I think are where she really shines. So it's really great that she gets to like work under Jacqueline and they get to do this together. So I hope something comes out of it.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Amy Motorhouse and the chat. Thank you, Amy, for joining us. And she says that Jane fully rocked this episode.
Yes.
And I completely agree. I think Jane has been one of our strongest characters in the show because she has always been given like these stories that she has to write, and most of the time she's had to write them like all on herself and kind of do all the research that she, like any writer, has to. But I think the fact that she is teaming up with Jacqueline to write the story is huge. And I think like once you get two of the powerful like writers to write something together, it's going to like bring something out. Like right now, I don't know that there might be a bigger position for her to fill because there really isn't one. But if there were one, I feel like it would be really nice for her to fill it. The only thing that I could have her probably think that she would do is maybe take Patrick's place, but I don't know that I see Patrick leaving anytime soon. But I think that slowly but surely she's definitely getting to a point where she would be able to be like the boss of like the writer people. So
right, she could be like the editor in chief,
the editor,
which is
yeah,
Jacqueline. And I think that Jacqueline is holding on a little bit longer because I think she really does want to cultivate that relationship and really help Jane grow into the person that she knows she can be. And I mean, if Jacqueline were to let Patrick get in her head that much to really put her down, I would have been really upset because that is just not something I'm ready for. And even though Patrick sometimes has these little wins like he did in today's episode, he still aggravates the heck out of me.
Me too. He's like a roller coaster. But it's still at the end of the day, I'm always like, ugh, I just don't. You irk me.
Did you guys see that post on Freeform? It says, "I love every single one, not you, of you." Like it's like with Patrick's photo in the middle.
Oh, that's great.
But everybody else's photos around it, and it says "not you" over him. I was like, double, triple tap.
Yes.
Well, I just think, I mean, we'll get into Patrick in just one second because I do want to talk about, like, the emails of the hack and everything. And something that is just really powerful about Jane is the fact that she's able to talk, like, obviously she has these anxieties about the emails coming out or whatever because she's making this drinking game about Patrick. How did you guys feel about her addressing this at the dinner? I thought it was totally going to backfire on her, but it somehow made her and Patrick closer. What was going on in your head?
Yeah, that's how I felt. At first I was kind of like, Jane, I get your point, but you got to hold your tongue because he's your boss.
Yeah.
That was so inappropriate. I know they weren't at work, but just, no, we can't be doing that. So I'm really glad at the end, it must have really affected him. I think he took it a little personal, which I would have. No matter who I was, I'd be like, dang, she ripped me a new one. So I don't know, but I'm glad at the end they had that moment, and I think maybe she'll have a little more respect for him after this. I'm sure she's still going to, talk crap about him and not like every decision he makes, but I think it's like opened her eyes to a different side of him a little bit.
Yeah. I want to point out David Fonville from the chat said, "Can y'all eventually see Jane in Jacqueline's position?" And that's one of those questions that for tonight, with what happened, I wouldn't see her in that position because when you're actually a boss, you have to be careful about like how you talk to your employees, how you talk to others. And I think that right now Jane has kind of been acting a little bit more on the childish side of like with Patrick, which is completely understandable because Patrick does get under her skin and stuff. But at the end of the day, Patrick is her boss. And to a certain extent, I feel like she has sort of been a team player, but she still gets to write the stories that she has been pitching and that she wants to do. The only time that she didn't get a story, which was today, was because she wasn't there at the meeting to have her own pitch of what she wanted to write. And I think that in order for her to actually be able to get there, she needs to grow a little bit more. And I think as far as like the writing goes, she is a great writer. But when it comes to a boss, if you look at Jacqueline is always willing to listen to everybody and just kind of like, Jacqueline wouldn't, like, if Jane were meditating on her desk, she wouldn't tell her, like, oh, no, you can't do that. Because Jacqueline has a walker in her office that she uses to distress herself or to work out. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, well, do you drink every single time that Jacqueline gets on, like, a treadmill, you know?
I think what's interesting here, though, is that Patrick had mentioned, like, your boss material. And he mentioned that while they were out on the terrace. So I think really, I understand where you're coming from and thinking that, yeah, she definitely has a lot more to grow. I mean, she's 25, 26.
This
she's
is
only,
down the road.
Yeah.
She is boss
but
material.
Definitely down the road, I could see her, because she makes those leaps and she goes out of her comfort zone knowing that it can bite her in the butt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of what Patrick does. He goes out all the time and just does things and doesn't care. It's like, ask for forgiveness later, and I think that's kind of what Jane does. So I personally can see it eventually, but I totally understand where you're coming from, Karla, where she does need some more growing.
She couldn't be Jacqueline's position right now.
Yeah.
No, but will she eventually get to it? Yes.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. Scooting on to her relationship side of things, I have to ask you guys, so Pinstripe is writing a book, right? He finished the book. It's published. Did you guys notice how they zoomed in on the book while they were kissing? Something is in that book about Jane and
she
Pinstripe.
needs to read it immediately. That's
because
what I was thinking.
There is some foreshadowing that went down that is going to happen.
He also seems nervous, too, a little bit. So I was like, what's happening right now?
And what's really interesting, too, is that obviously she had a dinner party, but I was really more curious as to why he wasn't like, come join me at the drinks. Like, there's something fishy going around there, which I hate thinking because I really do love Pinstripe.
Yeah.
And I really, like, he has grown on me so much. But I don't know. Tell me what you guys think, because I definitely saw that as foreshadowing as something that's going to come out. It's going to be bad.
And and it was that, and I also got the weird vibe when he was like, yeah, we're looking at a book tour. And she looked, I don't know if she just looked nervous because it meant distance and time apart, but I was like, there's a lot of stuff happening with this book, so.
There's something about to drop.
Yeah.
Well, for me, my head also went where your head, I think, was going when you were like, well, why didn't you invite her to come over for drinks? Or like, why are you getting home till like super late? Like, you know? And I was like, no, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and think that he's being.
Well, I definitely don't think it's cheating.
No.
I just think that there is maybe some more intimate things that he put in the book, or maybe, you know, talked about her professional career, like something that Jane didn't sign off on, essentially, that she's going to be really upset about.
Yeah.
And I'm just really curious as to what that is, but I could be completely wrong, and maybe the filmmakers just wanted to tease us.
They did tease us, though.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're all on the same page there. And before we move on to our next topic, we just wanted to say thank you guys so much for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. And for us to continue to grow, we need your help. If you're on YouTube right now, just hit that thumbs up button and give us a subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. We want to know what you think about this book, guys. So being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate your supporting us and doing what we love to do. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep enjoying our shows. And like we said, give us that 5-star and that like, because we appreciate you and you are the best, and we wouldn't be here every week without you guys and without Kevin and Maria that support us here at AfterBuzz TV. So thank you all. We love you, and we love Richard and Sutton. And I'm so excited to get into this because I was very nervous, and I'm sure, Karla, you were very nervous too because you love Suttard. I thought that this was going to be a deal breaker, but they continue to surprise me.
Yeah.
Were you guys thinking that this whole buying a house was going to be a big set-off for their relationship?
Well, it's, first of all, the fact that Richard asked her to move in, I think he knows that she's not ready right now.
Yeah.
He has to know that. And the fact that they got back together and they've decided to move in and take that step, you wouldn't just do that and then bring it up and be like, well, that's non-negotiable, and she just moved in with you. So I think he's just like, he wants it out there. He wants her to know that he thinks about it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, obviously he's got all the time in the world. She doesn't, but she's still 26. So it's like not the biggest deal.
Totally.
You guys, I feel like I'm kind of like the Debbie Downer of the episode for today. I don't know why. But I actually got really terrified when Sutton was kind of like talking about the age difference and how she wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. And then when she was saying like, oh, I'm not ready, but he was like, well, I want a family, I want to move. I was thinking like in the back of my head, I was like, oh my gosh, Jane doesn't have a roommate yet. Does this mean like she hasn't gotten a roommate because Sutton is moving back? So my head totally went there. I was like,
great point.
I got really scared for a second. And then he said that, like, he is not going anywhere. So I was like, oh, phew, thank you.
Well, I think also this is the first time that Richard and Sutton are really diving into their relationship. Because for the longest time, it was a secret. They were having, like, a rendezvous, and it was fun, and it was exciting. But now that they're really actually getting to know each other's friends, they're getting to, like, go to that separate level of really figuring it out. It made me realize that, like, you really, like, in a relationship, you need to be telling each other what page you're on, because some people move faster than others in a relationship, and this is a real conversation that they needed to have, and it was really important. And I'm glad that we kind of got there, because it was always a lingering thought, and it always has been in the past. But I'm glad that we're finally understanding that Richard has been like, I get it, you're not there yet, and that's okay. And the fact that he's showing support of her getting into this program, and I'm really glad that also, what really kind of made me upset is that when the girls were making the comments at the dinner table, he didn't kind of interject and be like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously they were having the conversation back and forth, like, oh, I remember when I had passion projects, in a sense, and he didn't say anything. I get there's a time and a place for everything, but were you guys hoping that Richard would stick up for her and interject?
A little bit, yeah. I kind of hoped he would, and it's just because, I don't know, he knows how much that means to her, and for her, it could potentially be a career. It's not just a passion project, so that was kind of like, I don't like that.
Yeah. And she actually has the connects to make it happen. Like, she just got into a a seminar where they called her personally. You
And
know what I
she's
mean?
still so young. She
So
has like
young.
all the time in the world to do those things. So I don't know if it was just them saying that because they're a little bit older and they've like settled, but it's
They had kids.
yeah. I don't know. You can still do whatever. Don't put her down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And what I was kind of sad about, though, about her getting into this program is did I miss something, or did we just skip over what the dress actually looked like?
We didn't.
We skipped
Yeah,
over.
we didn't get
Yeah.
to see it.
Which I was kind of disappointed. They just kind of jumped to the fact that she was already on the right path.
Yeah.
But last episode, she was really struggling with finding the right design. Oliver was giving her negative comments.
Yeah.
So,
We only saw her like starting to change the neckline, which
Yeah.
the neckline looked great. But
yeah, we saw like the design that she was
Yeah.
drawing. Right.
Which I guess that's the point. Is it didn't matter what it looked like at the end because
Yeah.
we were just supposed to see her like knowing that her first time's not always
Not
gonna
giving
be,
up.
Yeah.
Right.
But still, I was kind of hoping we get a little glimpse of it.
Yeah,
me too.
a little bit deeper into it. And she's really on another level with Oliver. He is listening to her, and they are a dynamic duo, and that makes me really excited because it's just a fun dynamic to have, and to know that she's able to speak her mind now, and he really appreciates her thoughts, and we're kind of off that level of like, oh, every time she does something, is she gonna get in trouble?
Yeah.
Now we know the trust is there, and the fact that he's listening to her advice, they've officially established that.
yeah.
So that's really exciting. On to our lovely Kat. I have been like the whole time with her and Tia, I knew there was something rather than just like a work relationship. So that leads me to the next question of, obviously Tia is saying that she is single and straight. Do we think this is a situation where Tia's been a little too afraid to open that door, or do you think that she is do you think that there is potential for Kat and Tia to be in a relationship?
I think there's potential, but I also like maybe it's so hard because she is coming on kind of strong, like
Yeah,
stronger
she
than
is.
just a campaign manager. So I don't know if it's like maybe she never had considered it before, but there's just something between her and Kat that she
Right.
like it's new to her too, or maybe she is. I don't know, but she's not coming on like just a straight friend would. So it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
unless I'm just missing something, but I feel like
Same.
she's been. I would have
Yeah.
gotten the same impression.
There's been a lot of comments that she said that you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like
Right.
that was kind of flirtatious.
Like I think Kat had every reason to
Right.
kind of assume or at
Yeah.
least want to know.
Yeah.
And I think what's really interesting is this is kind of exactly what happened with her and Adina. She had never even considered it before. And now that she is in, it's kind of like roles are reversed. I'm just wondering how this is going to play out.
Yeah, same.
So it'll be really interesting. And then now Kat is officially running for city council, and she's opening up about her past and really kind of letting people dive in and figure out everything about her. Do you think that she's going to eventually have to choose between Scarlet and between this city council membership?
I don't know. I'd like to think she can do it all, but I don't think she can.
you guys, I really feel like I'm being the Debbie Downer. For
I mean,
this.
hey, you gotta
Yeah,
tell
so-
it how it is. Tell us what you feel.
I think that Kat is an incredible candidate, but I don't really see her moving forward as actually
Really?
becoming this. Yeah, I think that there's going to be like some sort of thing with the votes or like the whole hack thing. Like I don't know, but I feel like a lot of people aren't taking her seriously, which doesn't really help her, and it's not really towards her favor. And then like maybe now with her like opening up to Tia, like there might be some sort of like weird relationship. Like I feel like something might happen that because she can't leave Scarlet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
maybe we can see her doing both. I don't know.
Yeah. I just felt like we were really giving a push and pull of like the past two episodes of like whether or not she's gonna have to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I obviously understand like she came out to open up to everybody about everything that she's gone through, which is great because like she was saying, then other people can realize there's someone they can relate to
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
a different level. But I just feel like eventually she's going to have to choose between Scarlet
I know.
and
I think so
the
too.
campaign.
Especially if it keeps going on the way it is. So, but maybe she doesn't get it, and that's what helps her choose. Or maybe,
Right, that's
yeah,
true.
I don't know.
which will be really interesting to see how that pans out. This Scarlet hack. Oh, sorry, what were we gonna say, Karla?
That it would be interesting to see her like fail. I think because it's
That's
going to be
true.
this
We
would
haven't
be
seen
kind of the
that
first
yet.
time of her failing,
Right.
And kind of seeing how she would cope with that.
Yeah.
That's
I think
very
it would be
true.
really great to learn from
That
her.
is actually a great point because obviously she always mentions how she's kind of been given things because her two parents were their therapists, and she's always just like they've paid for her way. Because remember, her and I think it was Jane had a little bit of a struggle at one point because she's like, "Well, you've been given everything."
Two
your
different
parents-
upbringings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right,
she
Karla.
is pretty lucky all the time.
She is. She gets everything.
Yeah, so we're like, we've never really seen her fail yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the only time is just not getting a Dina.
relationship. Yeah.
So,
Which is, I think, normal.
yeah, it's normal in anybody's life. So we'll see how that goes. This Scarlet hack. What do you guys think is the true meaning behind this hack?
I don't know. It's also how they brought up, they thought it was like a phishing email,
Yeah.
and it was someone, I'm like, and also is Patrick behind it? Like, there's something weird with Patrick in this whole thing, because
Yeah.
he seemed really into it. Not really into it, but he had like some very strong feelings, and he wasn't listening to anyone.
Wait, that's a great point.
You know what? I thought I was crazy for thinking that Patrick had something to do with it.
I think it's crazy, but I can't help but think it.
It's almost because it like makes it more newsworthy because now they're and he's the one coming up with the hashtags. He's the one. You're right.
Yeah, and then in the previews for next week, they had it looks like something comes out about Jacqueline that we didn't want out. So if the emails get released, like I could see
then
him
that's his
being,
way of pushing her out even further.
So I don't know if he's that. I hope he's not that shady, but I'm like, oh no.
But you know what? The comment he made at dinner about like, don't you have any emails? It's like he's fishing for information.
Yeah.
And it
So
was
maybe
just
it was him.
it was just weird how he seemed to be the only one that was like, let's not pay them, let's let this go. And it also like they made a point to be like, someone probably in this room is the reason that it happened.
Yeah.
Like if you could
And my
easily
mind
make it,
totally
like-
went to Patrick.
Yeah.
I was like, Patrick.
At first I was like, and he's too smart to make a mistake like opening a
Right.
phishing email.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know. His character is so aggravating, confusing to me because I feel like the writers want us to like him, and then they're like, never mind, you
That's
hate
why
him.
I don't know.
And it's
Yeah.
such a push and pull. And like at this point, I just don't like him at all because I think that
I hate him.
he's just, I don't know, just really unpleasant. But I am just really curious as to how this really is going to play into like what he's doing there, because obviously he is just like a millennial that kind of has his way paved out and he's trying to push Jacqueline out because he wants all the power, but I feel like there's something else that is underlying in him. But then maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm completely off and
I know, I
he's
don't
just
know.
there to help, but who really knows?
I know, because then they had that sweet moment at the end, and I'm like, could someone like that do that? But I don't know. It's just
That wasn't sweet.
It was better than for him to be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he
And
would
to be
have been like, bye.
Yeah, you're fired.
That was I was like, thank God.
yeah, seriously. And to be like, you're a boss, like a boss potential.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
interesting.
So who knows?
I think that kind of covers the last two episodes. Are there any last things you guys want to bring up before we get into our bold issues of the week? Mm-mm. Alrighty, guys. Our special segment, as always, is talking about the bold issues and things that have come up. One thing that I wanted to talk about was how your online imprint is something that stays online forever.
So scary.
Some people don't think about that. And
No.
I think that was something that people really wanted to mention, and bringing that up with like Jane realizing like, oh, she can just talk crap about her boss in an email and no one will ever find it. False. Those emails can always be retrieved. Nothing ever gets deleted online. And like I heard a piece of advice the other day that was like, don't ever send an email that you don't like, unless you're comfortable with it being projected on a screen. Don't send it.
Yeah.
Like, always make sure that what you're sending is something that you're gonna know someone else is seeing, because that's just how it goes. And I think that was like maybe an underlying bold topic that they wanted to bring up. But
for
like,
sure.
and so I don't know. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
I just it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Obviously, hopefully you're not sending out stuff that you don't want people to see, because it's going to someone else in the first place.
Totally.
But like in the situation we saw with the email and like those confidential things, it's just so hard, because obviously as a journalist, if you're writing these people,
You have so much.
it's just so scary.
Yeah, for me, I've always been afraid, or not necessarily afraid. I've always had a lot of respect for the internet. I've always thought, like, my mom has always told me, like, remember, whatever you post, whatever pictures taken of you, whatever you ever say, like, people can use things against you.
Yeah.
So always be careful, respect the internet, respect people. And I think, like, that kind of goes to say, like, I mean, for emails, like it's one of those things that you have to be careful with emails, with chats, with text messages.
Well, emails
with, like,
never really get deleted. That's the thing,
No.
too.
yeah,
They're
stay forever.
They're saved on a server somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And anybody can, like, look them up.
Yeah, exactly. So just be careful, guys. And I just thought that people need to be reminded.
I agree.
Because I think that there was a time, like, right when Facebook and all that stuff came out, it was like, also, it was funny before that. I feel like we all grew up in a stage where it was like, don't share your online information, don't share your address, don't share where you live, don't share your location. And now we're, like, tagging our location live.
That was like, if you want to be kidnapped, don't do that.
Yeah.
But
and so now
we're
we're just like, here's everything.
we let Ubers come, strangers pick us up in cars. Yeah, it's crazy.
Just a reminder to everybody that your online imprint stays with you forever.
That it does.
That's so scary.
It's so scary when you think about it. It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about the other day? I was like, I have the Friends app and like how you can share
find
and,
your
like,
friends.
find
Yeah.
friends. And like the other day I accidentally opened the app and I was like, this is kind of creepy. Like, these people can't see where I am right now. Like, I can't even lie to my friends and tell them I'm on my way because they can tell that I'm still at home.
Still
like,
at home.
That's like Snapchat. You need to make sure that you're in ghost mode, or
Yes.
else people
on
can
Snapchat.
see exactly where
Yes.
you are.
Yeah,
It is
it's
so
terrifying.
creepy. It
like
is so
people can
terrifying.
find where you work.
That's
Hell
so creepy.
no.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Alrighty, Karla, it is time for you to take us away with the lovely news and gossip.
Oh, okay.
What? Did you have one more thing you want to say?
I thought we were gonna do
No,
another
we're
full
running out of
topic.
time.
Okay. Sorry, you guys. I was
No
not ready
worries.
to start the news and gossip. Okay. First of all, if you guys did not get enough of the Bold Type, like we didn't get enough of the Bold Type because we covered 2 episodes tonight, I was looking up the ladies today and I found out that they did an interview with BuzzFeed. And you guys, the interview is like 10 minutes long, but it's totally worth your time. They did a video about your most memorable first times. And I chose 3 questions that they could, that they answered. And I thought it would be fun for us to answer too.
Okay.
So first celebrity crush. For Megan Fahey, it was Lance Bass, and it was really surprising because Aisha D didn't actually know who Lance Bass was.
Really?
She was like very confused, but she was like, I think it's just she probably thought like NSYNC, you sometimes don't know
I
everybody
think
together.
also she's from Australia. So
Yeah,
maybe
so
that makes sense.
Maybe it
NSYNC
wasn't as
like,
popular.
huge and mainstream over
But
there?
it was really cute, like how she reacted. She was like,
Yeah.
"Is it bad that I don't know who Lance Bass is?" It was really cute. And then Katie said that her first celebrity crush was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh.
And for Aisha, it was John Smith from
Nice.
Pocahontas.
I appreciate that.
So,
You respect.
yeah. What about
Karla
your
the Disney.
guys'? What was? Do you guys have
Mine
a first
was
celebrity crush?
100% Orlando Bloom. He was like all my passwords. He isn't anymore, but he totally was.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. I think mine was Jeremy Sumter because he
nice.
played Peter Pan.
Yes,
the
I love
live action
those.
Peter Pan. That was my favorite movie.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yeah, I think he was my first crush.
Yes.
And literally, if I could meet him, I probably would be starstruck.
Yeah.
Okay. My first crush was probably some Mexican actor, but I couldn't possibly remember their name by now because I used to watch like the Spanish soap operas for like kids. Yeah, and there was really cute boys there all the time. So
That's amazing.
there you go. And then a first job. So Megan's first job, she said that she was a babysitter, but she also worked in the stockroom of her dad's company. Katie said that for her 16th birthday, her parents took her to a restaurant and they ended up giving her a application for her to apply, and she ended up being hired to be the bus girl for the
Nice.
place. And
Amazing.
Aisha worked for her grandpa's fish and chips shop.
Aww.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's your guys' first
I was a
jobs?
waitress. That was my first one. Yeah, A&W, so I had the rollerblades.
Oh, fun.
It was
So
great
that's
time.
hard.
Yeah, it was lots of fun.
You can definitely like hold things.
Yeah,
and
it also helped
like
that I lived in Wisconsin, so it was like only 4 months out of the year we could use them. So that was
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
that's fun.
Mine was, besides like babysitting, so I think we all did that probably
Yes.
as
Yeah.
our first thing, was I worked at Abercrombie.
Oh my gosh,
I
twins!
worked at
I was at Hollister. Hollister
I-
was my first job.
Yeah,
It was
and
my
I,
second.
I like it's just so funny thinking back at that. But yeah, that was I worked there for
Yeah.
at least 3 years because I worked there like continuing from high school to
Nice.
college, and
Yeah.
then transition over to waiting tables.
It's
guys-
so funny we all did that.
Yeah.
I drove like 45 minutes because that was the nearest mall to work there, like
Really?
just on the weekends.
Oh my
God,
it
that's
was
so fun.
ridiculous.
They had some crazy rules and stuff.
The
but-
clothing you
yeah,
had to wear, yeah, and you smelled all the time.
all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, fun first job.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last one is the first piece of advice to someone trying to be an actor. And the question for me would be for somebody trying to be a host.
Yeah.
Oh.
So for Megan, she said to try everything, of course, within moderation, never let your values go down. And Katie said that when you feel like giving up, that's when you shouldn't give up because that's when maybe something's around the corner for you.
Agreed.
And Aisha said that if there's anything else you're passionate about, make sure that you're doing that too. To not just keep your to keep your options open.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
what is your guys' advice?
Mine
to
would
anybody
just
who's thinking
be
about those?
to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
Like everything and anything, you know. Try not to say no because of fear and just let fear go in general.
Yeah.
To work hard
Yeah.
and to put in the hours because nothing's going to be given to you and
Nope.
just listen, take advice from everybody, and seriously don't stop.
Yeah.
Like, do not stop trying at it because it can take forever for you to actually get into what you want to do, but it could be, the payoff's going to be so worth
Yes.
it. So
Yeah.
just to continue to work it and don't let fear and what did they say? Let's like don't
Failure.
Don't let
Yeah.
failure be the reason. Like, don't be scared to fail. Basically,
exactly.
Yeah.
and just
Because then
keep
you'll
at
regret not trying.
Yeah, Karla, what about you?
Which is its run towards what frightens you the most.
Yes.
For me, that's hard. I guess my first piece of advice is like basically the same as Ally. Like, be ready to put in so much work in and be willing to learn and always like kind of stay up to date with what's going on and just basically be willing to work all the hours that you need
Yeah,
to.
totally. Well, that was awesome, Karla. I
you,
appreciate
guys.
for you doing that. That
Yes.
was awesome. If you guys want to check out the interview, please be sure to
Yes,
check it out.
on BuzzFeed. They have the whole 10-minute interview. They added a little bit of gifts. It's really fun.
Alrighty, guys, we need to get into some predictions, and we have some really, really
Your
exciting news for you
AfterBuzz
after our
TV
predictions. Alrighty, Krista, do you want to
All
get
right.
into it?
I think my biggest one, which we already kind of went over, is that I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but Patrick has like a hidden agenda with this hack, or he's going to. Like, maybe when they start releasing the emails, maybe that's when he like sneaks in there and uses
Oh.
it to his advantage, because it's just not fair that Jacqueline's going to get thrown out under the bus again
Yeah.
so easily. So yeah.
I think Patrick is going to be fired.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something sketchy is definitely going on with him.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Something sketchy has to come up because right now it's been too like, vacation mode.
Yeah.
And like nothing really intense has happened. And
Yeah.
I feel like we need to be hit soon. So we're going to be hit with
That's
either
true.
something really heavy. So I feel like maybe Patrick will be fired.
Yeah. I think that something's definitely in Pinstripe's book that is going
Yes.
to raise some sort of tiff or trust issue between the two of them.
Agreed.
And then also, I think whatever is going to come out, I think maybe Jacqueline might have to step away for a little bit, and I think she might give Jane some higher, higher priority things to focus on while she may be out or whatever is going to happen. Because I think it was really interesting that we had talked about 2 weeks ago, saying how it was really weird how they just kind of let go of that whole board situation of them wanting to get rid of Jacqueline.
Yeah.
But I think now we're approaching that again. So I will be sad to see where that goes.
Yeah.
But guys, with that being said, we do have an amazing guest for you next week. We will just have to have you stay tuned, and we will be shouting it out on our social media. So make sure you follow us. Make sure you follow AfterBuzz TV, and we will let you know who that special guest is. We are so excited
Yes.
and cannot wait. It's one of our favorites. I mean, they're all our favorites, but
Yes.
Yeah.
super excited. But in the meantime, guys, where can they find you on social media?
Hey guys, you can find me all over social media at Krista Flentji.
And you can find me on Instagram at I am Karla Beltran.
And hey guys, Ally Nasta here. Follow me on Instagram at AllyGirl. And of course, follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms to get that special news for next week. See you later.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.